Hamitakepi. Chtatu kinde Dakota iwoha dakiktedo. Naku chtatu kinde Dakota wapi kitana otakahapi. Chtatu kinde hena chichipazo piktedo. So, hello my relatives, going to talk about the Dakota language again tonight. Going to talk about some books. There are kind of a lot, but still not very many. I'll be showing you quite a few of the books I've accumulated, and this is not complete. If I can remember, there are some other things, so which I'll of course post on the site. But as I talk about these, I'll talk about the ones you can easily get and the ones that may not be so easy to get. So I guess I'll start off with a couple of the, where did my books go? Just a second. So there's old school stuff, very old school. So I'll start talking about some of the dictionaries. So there's this, a Dakota English Dictionary by Stephen R. Riggs, who kind of wasn't a very he did not treat the Dakota very well. He was a missionary, and he was one of the ones that helped put the Dakota language into a written form, and so it looks like that. You can see that. This whole dictionary also is available on googlebooks.com. So actually, if you do a Google search for Riggs Dakota Dictionary, one of the first links, in fact, it might even be the first one, you click on that and you can download a PDF version of this. There might even be an ebook version. There might even be a Kindle version. I'm not sure, but it's free. Now, what I don't have with me amongst my collection here at home, because I have a bunch in my office, is the Williamson Dictionary. So this one is Dakota to English. So this one, if you're just starting out learning the language, this one might be harder to use because it's Dakota first, then English. The Williamson Dictionary is English, then Dakota. And actually that one also is on Google. Okay? So, Linda Rose, Omakad Techa Washteyu Hawo, Nija. All right. So, this is very old school. This was, they started working on this in the very early 1800s. And again, you can buy this, but I would download it so you could have it on your phone, your computer, your tablet, fast access that way. And this is, it's kind of heavy. So, all right, so there's that one. Now, different kind of dictionary, very cool dictionary. This is from Paul Warcloud, who is a Sisito Hetanhado. He was from Sisseton. And he is a very, very good artist too. I've seen his art. But he has Dakota Sioux Indian Dictionary, over 4,000 words, pronunciation at a glance. Now the challenging part about this is it's kind of written with, I guess, what they kind of I'm spacing the term. So like this word for disgust, if you can see it, disgust. Wachteda shani. Wachteda shani. So what's cool about this is it has capital letters where the stress is. So like if it was, let's see, let's look up a word that probably a lot of you know already. It's one of the challenges is getting to learn the writing system. Okay, so check it out. For good, right there, it says washte, washte. So with a de, But again, it's so phonetics, I guess. They're trying to write out the sounds there. But everybody kind of writes it their own way sometimes, so it's kind of challenging. But a lot of good vocabulary in here. So it's Paul Warcloud. Where did I buy this? I think I bought this at the museum in Chamberlain, South Dakota. I believe that's where I got this. So I still have it. All right, another dictionary. Where did it go? This one. I like this one. This is English to Dakota, and this is from as spoken by the Sisseton Wahpeton Dakota Oyate. So this is put out by Sisseton. Elders worked on this, and again, it's English to Dakota. Look at that. There's a cool word right there. Where did it go? Whoops. If you can see, region, Makoche uŋspe, refrigerator, snihnakapi, sniakagapi, koka. All right. So lots of cool words in there. I think there's even a word for like comma and quotation mark, I think. But anyway, you can get this from Sisseton. I just got this last summer of last year, so this is still current. And there's a children's dictionary, picture dictionary that they have, and I don't know where my copy is right now. But I highly recommend that too. So still talking about dictionaries. And then there's, I think I'll end the dictionary talk on this one. This is a very heavy dictionary. That's all I'll say about it. Just kidding. So this is, if you have Buchel's dictionary, the blue one, which I don't know where mine is. It disappeared a long time ago. I think I might have lent it out. But this one put out by Lakota Language Consortium, and their spelling's a little bit different, but if you learn it, you can, it's a consistent writing system. It's good for learning the language. The other cool thing is the examples that they have in here. If you can see, they actually give examples of the words that you're looking up. So you can see the structure, the context. They have both. There's some sacred context in here as well. And for a long time, up until this semester, I'll be switching over to something here, but I'll show you. There's they have a grammar section. See in the section where it's blue, that blue stripe, that's grammar. So if you're curious about conjugation, syntax, what's an instrumental prefix, that's in here. So I would highly recommend learning as much as you can, because if you're learning Dakota and you start learning the grammar as well, it will help your learning, no joke. I've seen that now for over 20 years. Holy Toledo. All right, so that's it on dictionaries. This one you can get. I would highly recommend getting the second edition. So just it's updated. All right, now so those were just dictionaries. So looking up vocabulary. Now I'm going to talk about grammars. So grammar, specifically talking about the grammar and structure of Dakota. Okay, so this one I do not have. I do not know where my newer copy is. I think I got this one off of eBay for like 100 or 150, and then maybe within 6 months they started reprinting them. But this is by that man Riggs, who put out that dictionary in the 1800s, and he wrote a grammar. Now, the grammar and stuff, it's pretty cool, because he was alive during a time when most Dakota people were fluent and spoke Dakota. So, so he has some interesting observations. Not all of them were correct. I have to say that. But one of the cool things about this book, he included some Dakota stories. He says myths, but so like trying to. Oh, okay. So there's a classic story in here. Odoan shikshiche. So he tunkan kapi wan heched oyakapi. Unktomi wan gakid ya. I cannot see that. Wanka bede wanka hadaya wanka unka bedeki. Chana maraksi chaga. So, whoops. The heck? Ooh, a little candy corn with googly eyes just popped out of my book. When my boys were little, I would take the stuff that they made me and put it in my books, so I'd find it later, just like that. Anyway, Riggs Dakota Grammar. This one you can get. I think this is Minnesota Historical Society. Whoops, Minnesota Historical Society Press, not hysterical. Okay, but you can get that. You can get that grammar. This is the grammar that I actually used for a long time. So this one, when I visit with speakers, I would use examples out of here. Now, it says the Grammar of Lakota. This is by Father Buechel, Wambari Sapa, who lived with the Lakota people, became fluent in the language, actually gave him a name. And I think it's a really good grammar, actually. He has really cool things in here, like, I can find it here. He has these conjugation paradigms. So, gichi and the pronoun prefix gichiawa, to count or read something for one, and then he has all the different ways to say that. Chichiawa, wechiawa. Now, again, the challenge is that it's not a consistent writing system, so you might have to guess on how to pronounce some of the things. But if you've been speaking the language for a while, if you've been learning the language for a while, I highly recommend this. You should not have that much trouble with the pronunciation in it. Anyway, Father Buechel, Eugene Buechel, and a Grammar of Lakota. Okay. Now, whoops, there went a giant grammar book. This is another. Oh, there's more of my kids' art. Okay. This is another grammar. This is a cool grammar. This is, just a minute here. This one was made by Ella Gloria. Ampetu Washtewi. Okay. So this was put together by a first speaker and Franz Boas, who she worked with. But this also has some stories. Some traditional stories in it, and there are some really cool observations that she makes, like the word for hatchet, for example, maz uŋspe. It's maza, but some speakers actually, and I believe this is still true, say it not with a ma, with an ma, but with a na, naz uŋspe. So, but it's just a dialect thing. But I believe she has one story in here, Lakota, and maybe one Dakota. I have not looked at it for a while. But anyway, I highly recommend this grammar. So, and I don't know if you can buy this. I think you might be able to get a copy of the library or something. Let me see if I can. Where is, oh, it does not have a cover page. I do not remember where it came from. Oh, I'll put it on the site. I actually have the official book too. It's from, it's from an academic journal back in the day. I cannot remember what it is from. There is also Ella Deloria's site that contains a bunch of her texts, and anyway, I'll put that up on the site as well. Anyway, recommend Ella Deloria's Grammar. I'll have that up on the site. And then the LLC, I think they make their paper out of Mazza, out of metal. There is this new grammar. Now, this is by Jan Ulrich with Ben Black Bear Jr., who is a first speaker, phenomenal speaker, really nice guy. Again, he grew up speaking the language. He knows his stuff. His dad is a very well-known singer. But let's see, what can I just pick one thing out of here? There is a little bit of a challenge, though, because some of the stuff in here is specific to Lakota. And because Dakota is a little bit different, it is the same language, of course, but it's a different dialect. There are some differences. But just trying to... So, again, he has stuff like this, some conjugation. Whoops. Just saw the video cut out. Okay. Conjugation paradigms. But you can get this. This is new. And he worked with first speakers to put this together. Highly recommend it. This is available from Lakota Language Consortium. Lots of cool exercises. And the answers are in the back, so you can quiz yourself. All right. So that's enough on... dictionaries and grammars. Now, my boys put these stickers on here. This is my copy of Dakota Texts by Ella Deloria. So again, Ella Deloria, who made that grammar. You can buy this. This is put out by Bison Books. Deloria Dakota Texts. And again, this is mostly oh, there's my Bajo sticker. Sweet. Ooh, Kleine Zymox. Okay. Anyway, if you look on here, she gives the translation, or I'm sorry, she has the Lakota written, and she has the word-by-word translation, and then she gives the free translation. And she does that. All three of those. She gives the Lakota text, the word-by-word, and the free translation. She does those three up until a point, and I can't remember what the point was. It was just after a point she drops off the word-by-word. But one challenging thing about this again is the writing system looks a little bit different. But if you learn it, and I recommend making a key. That's what I did when I first got a hold of this. I thought it was kind of hard to read, but I made a key, and after that, I didn't have any. I didn't have a hard time pronouncing anything out of here. But the turtle moccasin boy. I mean, there are a bunch of stories in here. Here's part of the table of contents. Unktomi marries his daughter. Gee, that guy. Okay. Unktomi conquers Iya, the eagle boy. And one of my favorite stories, Kea Zuyaya, Turtle Goes to War, is in here. But again, if you're one of the things that I've had my students do in class is they kind of memorize one of the stories, and then they start to internalize so that they can actually tell it. Kind of like that movie or the book what is it, Fahrenheit 421 or 451 or whatever, where the people memorize a whole book and they become that book because they ban books. Kind of like that, because we should all be able to tell stories in Dakota, even basic stories, you know, whether it's about our day, a little adventure we had, or a traditional story. So highly recommend this. And again, this is still for sale. And again, it was put together by First Speaker. And what's cool is if you read the foreword, she talks about, or somebody talks about her saying she would go visit with these speakers, and sometimes she would write down the story as they're telling it, or they would tell her the story and she would remember it verbatim and write it down. So pretty cool. All right, so there's that one. That was by First Speaker. Then there is this book. Is anything going to fall out of here? All right. Lakota Texts and Tales. Again, this is by Father Eugene Buechel. And interesting that a priest would have a pipe on the cover of his book. So I think he understood some of that. But this, again, this is all in Lakota, and there are some errors. The writing system is kind of a little challenging to read. But again, if you have been learning the language for a bit, it will not be as difficult. You'll be able to figure it out. But cool thing is, if there are any words that give you trouble, he has the translations down at the bottom. Okay. But now, this is all in Lakota, except for the little the little help that he gives at the bottom. Like I said, the little translations. Where did that go? Yeah. So like this, you know. But aside from that, the stories are all in Lakota. So you would need to be a very good student, proficient on your way to being fluent or first speaker to really get these. But here's the cool thing about this one. This book I think I got for $15. You can still get it. Some of these you can get at Prairie's Edge out in Rapid City. Or there's also a place called Lakota Books. If you do a search for Lakota Books online, some of these will also pop up, the Lakota ones I'm talking about. But again, this one, all in Lakota, but there is a companion. And this has all the translations. So this was done by this guy named Manhart, who came in after, and let's see, I'll get book one out here. Whoops, that's volume 2. Just to show you what it looks like. So he has the stories again in Lakota, but they're written even differently again. But then he has like vocabulary lists. And he has the English translations. Okay, so yeah, Lakota text. So this is the one that's all in Lakota. That's by Buechel. And these two contain the translations, but they're flawed on some of them. There are some errors, mistranslations, but for the most part, it's there. This is available TP Press, Chamberlain, South Dakota. Okay, so I think it's at that Acta Lakota Museum. I think that's what it's called in Chamberlain. All right. So, but the grammar, the structure, the language, the sounds, they're there. All right. So that's on texts. So that's so that's kind of the end of me talking about books that contain a lot of text. If you go online, there's also the Iapi o Aye. In fact, I'll write it here. This is how they spelled it, Iapi o Aye. And today, one way to write it be like this. So just to give not much difference there. But there's you can find that online. That was a newspaper that was in English and Dakota. So sometimes it would be all in Dakota, sometimes it would be in both. But I've always thought we needed something like that today again. So it told the news, marriages, deaths, births, weddings, certain announcement going on amongst the Ocheti Shakui in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Santee. I'm not sure if it went up into Canada or not, or Montana, but it had, a few years back, I was giving my students a story out of there to read, and one of them said, hey, that's my great-great-grandma. That was in this story. So anyway, just thought that'd be cool if we had something like that today to kind of keep all the us connected through the language. Anyway, it's called the Iapi o Aye. It's a newspaper that was printed in the 1800s. You can find it online. It's been digitized. And there's another one, and it looks like Dakota. It's spelled, whoops, Tawa Sheetku. It looks funny how I'm spelling it here, and then I'll show you how I would spell it today. Dakota Tawa Sheetku. But that X that you see there in Dakota Tawashitku looks like Tawaksitku. That's how they used to represent the sh sound. And an R used to represent the ch sound. By the way, this evening's broadcast is brought to you by the letter ch. That's a joke. Okay. Now for some other out of Sisseton. So I showed you that dictionary, the cool new dictionary you can still get from Sisseton Wahpeton. Tammy Dakota and the Treasured Elders put out a lot of material in recent years. And I just have a few examples here. But you can contact Tammy, and I think you can still buy this stuff, but here's one called Dead Head, here and there. And they have pictures, you know, June Haitkia Paptuje, Melanie Sunkaku Ichada Mani, and they give the translations. But there's that. I mean, this is one out of many, many books. This was a super cool one. I loved it and loved when I first got a hold of this. uŋspe, a storybook on the Dakota language, and it's about let's see, how do they? Anyway, it's about dragons, but they say pčiwaŋka. All right, and there's no English on this one. You know, uŋspe wichaki ki Dakota pčiwaŋka pčiwaŋka wichaki bazo. So pčiwaŋka ki chinchana ki anahu tapiga abdezapi. So very cool book. And then ones like this. Ampetu de wa uŋspe pi ampetu. It's school day. See it, and I imagine this one has and it comes with a disc, so you can hear it. But everyday stuff, hiwak bajaja. I brush my teeth. Hiwadakcha. Or pawahadakcha. Not hiwadakcha. That's you combed your teeth. Okay. I comb my hair. All right. But Tammy Dakota, also, there are videos of this. If you do a search for AAIA, Dakota language on YouTube, some of these are in video form, but I would recommend buying them and having them, especially if you're learning the language. All right. This I got from Lake Andes a number of years ago, and it has just it's a coloring book, but it has the words in here. Yamanumnu hapi, chahapi miniskuya, wichayapi. That's their word for coffee. Wow. Ahoyapi traspan. All right, and there's hokshiopa. But anyway, some of their words are a little bit different there, but anyway, I don't, zoom up there. Project of the Native American Women's Health Education Resource Center, Lake Andes, South Dakota. I think there's another companion to this too, and I know I have it somewhere, but not here right now. But good for learning the language. And a book similar to this, done here in Minnesota, Dakota Language Coloring Book, Dakota Language and Culture. This is done by Joanna Shakopee, Mdewakanton Sioux Community, Dakota Language Department, Joanna Zacharias. This book is not for sale, okay. But it's really cool. It has the colors, it has body parts, it has the animals. It's a pretty good sized list too. It has some more animals. You can label those in Dakota. What else? Time. And let's see. I thought there was a little speech in here too. That's been a while since I looked at that, but counting. So the alphabet, vowels. Anyway, I'm not sure if Shakopee still has this. There's another one that they put out, I think it's Wamanicha is what it's called, animals. Wamanicha are animals that don't live where humans live. So undomesticated. But anyway, that's out of the Mdewakanton. All right, so there's that one. Piramaya Joanne for that one. And she also has a book called, oh shucks, I just forgot it. I don't know where my copy is. I think it's called Pčiwaŋka Wool. Look at it. It's a storybook. This one, there are some things like this floating around. I want to talk about this. He was my first Dakota language teacher. His name was Franklin Firesteel, and he was from Sisseton. And he drew this. He put this book together. And what was really cool about this is he put, how many did he do? He put, oh my gosh, was it 1,000? 987 phrases in here. And just to show you what they look like. So there's weather. But anyway, we used to have these down at Language Table. He was selling them, and now there are only a few. So I don't know. I'll have to see, maybe talk to his family or something, see if we can get these going again. So anyway, if you have this, hold on to it. It's a treasure. It has lots of useful sayings, but we used to use this to teach down at Language Table. So just wanted to give kudos there to Franklin Firesteel. He's a huge chunk of why I do this, why others do this in the Twin Cities area anyway, as far as Dakota language. All right. This is from Fort Peck. Okay, this came with cassettes and Insti prints. Oh, they printed it. Okay, I was going to say, did Insti prints make this? But there's they have pictures of Dakota people in here, and like this vocabulary list. So they have, I mean, it's interesting. They have the Dakota, Dakota, Washichu, and then the with the syllables. Okay, and they also do not only vocabulary, but they do some verb conjugation. You can see there. Okay. All right. So that's out of Fort Peck. I don't know if you can still get this. I'm not sure. Where did that go? Oh, shucks. I was going to show you, there's a Dakota picture book from Canada, and it's the same place where I got this. Mahed Tankad Agadapshia. See, that's how some talk up at my reservation. Agadapshia. We would say Ahadapshia. Ahadapshia. That means upside down, or yeah, that's a good translation. Anyway, Darlene Spidel. Dakota Isayanti Dakota in English, but this is a little story about a rabbit, and it's using some of these small vocabulary, but you know, effective. Kankad ehede. He is set outside, or he or she puts it outside, sets it outside. There are a few other books like this, but they're very cute. Notice that Dakota Wichangpi, that little rabbit, he's wearing a Dakota shirt, ribbon shirt. Naku Uzohistan, he's wearing purple pants. Purple pants, gee, it's kind of styling. Okay, that's those. This is also from Canada. This is from Konishi Doris Pratt. Duzahamaniwi. Okay? And 2003. Now, what was really cool about this, Konishi took each of the months. Wajushti Chashawi. And there's a CD that goes with this. So, Waskuyacha. Waskuyacha Chan. So Waskuyacha Chan Wana Cha. The trees are in bloom. In kind of challenging thing about this, a little bit of a different writing system again, but again, if you make a key, if you figure out what the sounds are, it's really awesome material. She goes through each of the months, each of the days, and comes up with a saying for each day. So Ishtawi Chayazawi, which is March, you know. Wigde Dona Ahaya Kipi. How many of you have birthday this month? Wanai Chada Wetukte, it will soon be spring. So, I do not know if you can get these anymore. I know she had some other books too, but Doris Pratt from Sioux Valley. All right. So again, just talking about resources here. This is a book put out by Clifford Chunku and a couple of his students. There are their names there. So 24 language and grammar lessons with glossaries. Now I happen to have the teacher's edition, but you know, there are games in here, like there's Circle the Word. There are some stories. He talks about cultural relationships, cultural ties, teaching, status, and belonging. Also has, you know, some vocabulary lists like that, if you can see that. Okay. Vocabulary list like that. And if you get the teacher's edition has all the answers. But anyway, good for learning the language again. Clifford Chanku. And this one is put out by Minnesota MHS Press. Okay. So. Oh, all right. There's that one. Now, speaking of Kodak Clifford, he and Mike Simon also put out this book, The Dakota Prisoner of War Letters, Dakota Kashkapi Okichi Ze Wapi. Okay? And what's cool about this, they put the translation in here and the word-by-word translation. So if you see that the 3 lines there, so the actual grammar of the letter, word by word, and then the English translation. And they used some of the current writing system, and I think they left some of it. Yeah, here's on page 27. Nina Yopte. Tamakoche itodaku wanji ochichakikta Wichaksta. What's Wichaksta? I got a good story about Wichaksta. Okay? That's actually Wichashta, but there's an X there because Ehana Heche Dakota Owapido. That's how they had the Dakotas write back then, the Washichus, when they made this. But did I already tell the story? One time my mom called me and she says, "Who is Marpia Wichaksta?" And I said, "I don't know who's Marpia Wichaksta." And she said, "Oh, Mr. Dakota Languages Chapter doesn't even know who Marpia Wichaksta is." My mom is Chachatwa, by the way, she's Ojibwe. And I was like, "Marpia Wichaksta?" I said, "No, who's Marpia Wichaksta?" And she said, "He's your relative." "He's my yeah, Cloud Man?" And I said, "Oh, Machpia Wichashta." And she said, "That's what I said." True story. Okay. So, anyway, this is in 1862, the Dakota Oyate. We got fed up with how the Americans were mistreating us, the government, the church, all those things. And some of us decided to go to war. Okay. As a result, in fact, December 26th, 1862, so just a couple days ago, there was a memorial run, and the 38 that were hanged in Mankato, they were remembered. Today, of course, is a memorial for a Wounded Knee, when the 7th Cavalry mowed down men, women, and children, and were given medals of honor. But anyway, the Dakota went to war in 1862, and we lost. We were outnumbered. And as a result, the men were put in the able-bodied men were put in a concentration camp down in Mankato, awaiting trial, and not fair trial, by the way. Some lasting less than 5 minutes, their trials. And 38 were hanged on December 26th, 1862. And the rest were sent to prison down in Davenport, Iowa. At the same time, the women, children, and elder men and women were put in a concentration camp down at Fort Snelling. Excuse me, I'm thirsty. Doing lots of talking. Anyway, but those men that went down to the prison, they were writing letters, and they had assistants writing letters. And anyway, these are not all the letters, but it's a large number of them. But you can see that by reading these, you can feel the pain, you can feel what they were going through. But I just want to say, you know, we Dakota people, we have our sense of humor. And when I was talking to Clifford and Mike when they're putting this together, I have to find the letter again. But he was saying, you know, even it was dark times for our people, you know, being put in concentration camp, ethnically cleansed out of Minnesota, have genocide perpetrated on us, all these things, the men down in a prison. Even then, there was humor. And there's one of the letters in here, and it's very short. It's like, there's a Dakota man in prison, and he's afraid in prison. And there's a reason he's afraid. And the letter goes something like, I wanted to, so in prison, he wrote, I want to divorce my wife, but she has a bunch of relatives. So he was afraid in prison that if he divorced his wife, that he would have, you know, her male relative to deal with. So he was in prison and he was afraid of that. So anyway, highly recommend this, and you can get this again out of Minnesota. I always say hysterical Society Press. Okay, all right. That is mostly it for primarily Dakota stuff. As far as text too, and I brought this up before, highly recommend this. Remember this, Dakota Decolonization in the Eli Taylor Narratives, Hankashi Waziatawi. And again, this one is awesome. I use this in my classes. I'm going to be using it this spring again, so students, if you're watching this. But it's bilingual. Hey, bring me back to the account and I will know. I'll be happy, they said. He said. So, but lots of vocabulary in here, and this one will also make you think about the process, what has happened to our people, what has happened, where are we at now, and where are we going to go. All right? So, now, before I get into some of the more Lakota stuff, so this, the LLC, again, put this book out a few years back, Lakota Ogalakapo, Speak Lakota, and this organization that some of us are part of, the Dakota, I don't know if you can see it, Dakota Grammar, and there's a Facebook page too. We put out the Dakota version, so there's that, and there's that, and it's the same thing, same information, just in Dakota, but they have 4 more levels. They actually have, I don't know where my third one is, but they have, you know, here's 2 for Numpa, Dopa, and Zapta. I don't know where my third book is, but one of the cool things about these is, where did it go? There's actually, in Dakota, in the language, and of course when I say Dakota, I mean Lakota, whatever. Here are directions in the language on putting up a teepee. You see, that's all in the language there. In book 3, they also have the protocol from beginning to end on in a basic way of hunting buffalo, tracking them, taking them down, how they're processed, and what we make from them. All in the language, all in Dakota. So anyway, I appreciate these. I use them to teach. I think we're just scraping the surface. I would like to see where everybody's at with creating stuff in the future. And I think before I move on, I don't have any of Red Wing Thomas's stuff, but he has made some DVDs. He does videos, and he just put out some books, which those I want to get. He has one about a turtle cat that I want to see. All right, moving on. 853. This one, Reading and Writing in the Lakota Language. This is by the late and great Albert Whitehat, but he has quizzes, he has anecdotes in here. Let's see. So he has, I mean, this is a textbook you could actually use to teach a language, written by first speaker. Again, he has a different writing system. A lot of the books I've showed you, the writing system is different in most of them. You have to figure it out. Nina osni cha wanawa hadedo. See, Nina osni cha wanawa hadedo. That's how I would say it. But he has a Lakota here. It's the same language though. Anyway, highly recommend this. You can still get this. University of Utah Press. Oh, and Hangashi, this book, Nebraska, University of Nebraska Press. All right, so there's Albert's book. All right. Ooh, and there's a foreword by Vine Deloria Jr. Okay. The late and great Vine Deloria Jr. All right, a few other things here. This one I got at Prairie's Edge. Lakota tiwahe techindapi. Ehana ga dehan. Lakota family values. I actually have a more basic version of this that I use to teach with, and it's the 4 stages of life. Ehana ga dehan, past and present. This one is a little bit more. This one is all in the language. Okay. And it also has all the translations. So, published by Lakota Books. Again, that's that website. And this was $22. Got this at Prairie's Edge. But good for teaching, good for learning, talking about the past and the present. So, that big giant dictionary I showed you, that's Jan Ulrich and Ben Blackbear Jr. This is Ben Blackbear Sr. and Ronnie Thies. So this is Chokadakya Wachi Uo. Come out to the center and dance. Songs and dances of the Lakota. Comes with, I got this with cassettes, probably comes with CD now, but cool thing is, one side is Lakota and one side is translated. See? Highly recommend getting this. Okay? I learned a lot out of here. Then went and talked to singers. So, skip on that one. All right, last couple of books here. Tatanka and the Lakota People. Now there is another book that I have, and I can't find it. It's called Shota and the Star Quilt. And that's also, it's bilingual, and actually it kind of looks like this. So, what's it good? So it has the English and Lakota. Wayu otai kietan wakayaja unshiwichada na unshiwichada piga awichayu khetipi kihe unkichupi. Okay, but really beautiful art. And again, it's bilingual, so you get, you know, the English, you know, wanahi obon dakapi, wanahi obon dakapi onkopi pshni, iapi unani piga, unhnuni piga, iapi the chada wa unkahapi, hataikchi which hashta he unchapi. All right, so, all right. Tatanka and the Lakota People, there's that one. That one is South Dakota State Historical Society Press, Pear, South Dakota. So this one I know you can still get, and there's also this one. A Lakota Horse Legend, Tashunka. All right, same place, South Dakota State Historical Society Press, but I believe this one's kind of similar. Yeah. So it's really beautiful art, and it has the Wakud wichasha ki takushkoshkonwa ke wahe echet ki amani ena Kamakaed Oweya Dohini. I don't know what some of the words are. Okay. All right. Anyway, spend some time on that. I got this for $20, but again, this is bilingual. All right. I will post some of the links within the next few days to like the Iapio IA. I think the Dakota Tawashitku is online. I'm not sure. The Iapio IA certainly digitized some of the dictionaries, the Google books. Anyway, also for New Year, typically there are a couple of times for our New Year. It's either the spring or after you're done sun dancing. But this is Washichu New Year. So, and like Tiowa Kanhidiwia wrote, Oma Katecha Washteyoha. So that's one way to say that. Happy New Year. Oma Katecha Washteyohawo. Oma Katecha Washteyohapo. Everybody have a good New Year. So, all right. That's all I'll say.